This world needs an enema, to paraphrase one of my personal favourite films of all time. Friends, colleagues, peers, fellow citizens, people, we stand at a crossroads in our political discourse, and I know how to fix it. Trust in our institutions is eroding at a massively rapid pace, and the very fabric of our democracies are strained by a pervasive flood of constant and willful dishonesty from those who govern us. But in one measure, one law, I propose we can fix politics and ensure real honesty, permanent honesty, and rebuild the public trust, perhaps even in time to stop what now feels like a near inevitable collapse of society as we know it. And I dare you to say I'm being hyperbolic. The proposal before you today, while undeniably radical, offers a bold and necessary solution, a law that mandates the public severing of one finger from the hand of any politician and their staff or public figure in a position of political power and influence upon being caught in a demonstrable lie against the public trust. One finger for every lie. How many fingers do you think it'll take before they stop lying? Let us not shy away from the audacity of this concept. The brutality of it is clear, but rather embrace its potential to fundamentally reset the relationship between the governed and those who govern. Because right now that relationship is a bit ass backwards, if you ask me. There must be real and permanent public consequence for those in leadership who abuse their power, who lie and cheat and steal and indulge in self-serving corruption and grotty, selfish work. Aren't you sick of that? How much more are you going to put up with? This drastic measure I propose will be a potent tool for restoring public trust. For far too long, politicians have operated with what appears to be impunity when it comes to the truth. We do not have a justice system. We have a legal system that is incredibly vulnerable to abuse by those with practically unlimited resources. We see it constantly, and we don't do anything about it. Lies are spun, narratives are manipulated and threaded out, and in this age it's done with such rapidity and efficiency that the public is left to struggle to sift through a fog of misinformation. They deliberately flood the field with shit, hoping to go unnoticed and avoid accountability. So a visible and permanent mark, their severed fingers, would serve as an undeniable, indelible public record of a breach of trust. It is not a hidden sanction. It is not some sort of fine or a slap on the wrist or a demotion or a move to somewhere more hidden where they can continue their filthy work outside of the public eye. It is a visible badge of dishonor that immediately signals to everybody around them, this individual has been proven to lie. They are a liar. They have the liar's hand. They are not trustworthy. This transparency, this unignorable accountability is precisely what is needed to rebuild a cynical populace's faith in its leaders. We need to be able to trust these people. They make decisions that affect our lives. We must be able to trust those who wield such power. And right now, we simply can't and shouldn't. I certainly don't and haven't done for a very long time now. You cannot rise to political power right now without being a liar. I dare you to say I'm wrong. Secondly, consider the unparalleled deterrent effects this law would have. They love their deterrent punishments, don't they, these politicians, when they're setting up laws. But what is their deterrent? How many times have you seen them actually be punished properly? What is the current cost of a lie in politics? If anything, it's a fleeting news cycle. maybe a dip in the polls, or a carefully worded PR and lawyer-approved non-apology. They learned the lesson. Won't do it again. Promise. Oh wait, you can't cross your fingers if you cut them off. The severed finger changes this calculus entirely, fundamentally. It introduces a personal, permanent, and publicly humiliating consequence. Imagine the meticulous care a politician would now take with their words, the rigorous fact-checking they would demand of their staff. Knowing that a demonstrable falsehood could lead to a lifelong, visible mark of shame. This isn't about physical harm. It isn't about petty violence and damage them out of vengeance and spite. This is about social and professional consequence, because the systems we have now don't work for that. It will be a constant reminder to both the individual and the public of their commitment to truth, above all else. The fear of this indelible mark would force a profound shift towards honesty. Because the systems, such as they are, that we have now, have utterly and completely failed, continuously failed, to protect us from corrupt, dishonest sociopaths who seek power for purely personal gain only, and they do not care about the harm they leave in their wake. Of course, critics will immediately raise concerns about the definition of a demonstrable lie, and this is a crucial point. We don't want to start a war of politicians accusing each other of lying just to see how many fingers they can get off the enemy. So this law would necessitate a extremely rigorous, independent, and fully publicly transparent process. And I mean transparent. All of the evidence and adjudication and decision-making, public record. Everybody can see it. As it happens, we would establish an apolitical, judicial-like body, perhaps composed of retired judges, chosen by their peers for a record, a public record, of fair, moral, and even-handed application of the law, joined by forensically trained fact-checkers and ethical experts, all empowered to thoroughly investigate claims of falsehoods. The standard of proof would have to be exceptionally high. We are talking about a permanent punishment after all. So we'd require documented and irrefutable evidence that a public figure knowingly or recklessly made a statement of fact that was demonstrably false. So I'm not just talking about premeditated lies. I'm talking about them just saying shit as if it was true without checking. So this body would not deal with matters of opinion, of policy disagreements, or subjective interpretations of truth, but only with verifiable, objective falsehoods, held up to a scientific level of rigorous examination. The process would be open to public scrutiny at all points and carefully structured to ensure fairness and transparency and preventing political weaponization, because that is a very large danger. So therefore, anyone caught trying to influence this body through coercion, bribery, intimidation, or any means would be subject to life in prison, as would anyone within this body who succumbed to such influence. No chance of parole, no voice in public ever again to tell their stories. There must be no tolerance for corruption, no forgiveness. We have to make this bulletproof. This proposal is not about silencing dissent or cruel punishment. It is about a desperate but undeniable task of elevating the standard of honesty in public life, in public serving life, of holding the truth as a torch to lead humanity. Those who seek to lead, those who already wield immense power and influence over our collective future, have a unique obligation to be truthful. And deliberate dishonesty must not be tolerated, indulged, or go unpunished in the most public and permanent of ways. We need a fundamental change to how we approach this. Their words shape policy, influence public opinion, impact lives. When these words are demonstrably false, the damage to life, to dignity, to humanity is immeasurable. And the corrosion of this trust is a cancer in our society. We must cut it out. In conclusion, the severed finger is not a whimsical suggestion. This is not a thought experiment. I want this to actually happen. This is a serious, albeit unconventional, proposal for accountability. But what avenues do we have left? The existing systems do not work. They just don't. And they have never worked. And the instant any politician balks at the idea of enabling this as law, we already know they can't and should not ever be trusted. Because an honest person would have no fear of a law like this. If you are a person who is honest all of the time, you have nothing to fear. Because every time they impose a new law that infringes on our liberties, on our personal freedoms, endangers our privacy, we are told, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to fear. So let's hold them to that standard for once and forever. My proposal offers a visible symbol of a broken promise, or a series of them, if that's what it takes. A powerful deterrent against future deceit, and a mechanism to begin the arduous process of restoring trust in our political systems. It is time for radical honesty to meet radical accountability. And this law provides the means to achieve it. Make the liar's hand the law. I dare you.